Hello and welcome to Unsourced Wall. My name is Elvis, and as always, I am your host. Alright, so this is going to be kind of a vlog style vid because, well, I didn't really read anything and it's just been a really slow news week, so I'm just going to take the couple of things that there are to talk about and just kind of run through them. The first of which is actually something really, really exciting, and it is that, well, Joe Hill's horror imprint at DC is coming back, and while that's cool on its own, I'm just insanely overjoyed that a basket full of heads are coming back for a sequel. Well, sort of. I think it's been turned into an anthology series, and the next installment is called A Refrigerator Full of Heads. Now, it's not being written by Joe Hill, and it's being passed along to other creators, and I think that, well, that's fun. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I think it's a versatile enough setting and premise that it can just, do whatever it wants. I think that the first, volume had a very EC horror style tone to it, and those are always anthologies anyway. I mean, they're famous for it, so fingers crossed it turns out to be good too. And I think the second news topic is that, according to The Rock, the Black Adam movie has officially finished, I think its first round of shooting. The early production is now over. They're gonna be doing reshoots and all that kind of stuff, post-production. I think it's really great. I don't think it's a secret that The Rock has been working on this movie, or at least trying to get this movie made since 2004 when he was first cast as Black Adam. So it's really great to see him finally get to this point. So yeah, I can't wait for this. I hope it turns out good, and I hope that we get a proper, Shazam versus Black Adam movie, because that's what this has all been going up for, and hopefully the Rock is, fair game for that. So fingers crossed, and yeah, can't wait. Anyways, on to what I read this week. I did not read anything this week. I just don't know what else there is, honestly. There was a bunch of exciting new X titles that came out. But honestly, the last issue of X and the response to it, and just how hurt people were, and all that kind of stuff, it's really soured me on the book. I'm gonna give it a couple months. Maybe I'll dip back into it and see if it's still interesting. But honestly, it's deflated my hype and excitement for it a lot. So yeah, I don't think there's anything I read this week. Just move on into what everyone's waiting for. The season finale of Loki, because it has been confirmed that it is coming back for season 2, and honestly, I hope it's a lot better than the season ended up being. Now, just my first initial thoughts of the finale, I think episode 4 is still the best episode because it had actual stuff going on, it had actual sort of character motivations, it had a great kind of emotional arc to it, and just had heavy emotional engagement overall. I think that was a very solid episode. And episode 5 was just we're just filling time, and episode 6 is also filling time, but at least it has a rising motion to it. You feel like there is something built up toward, and it has a cathartic bent to everything. I think that's what really works about it. But overall, if this hadn't had a season 2 confirmed, this would have been a really unsatisfying ending. I think a lot of people who hadn't heard about season 2 being confirmed weeks in advance, we saw a lot of the reactions as this episode came out that were very disappointed. They thought it was limp. They thought it was lackluster. They thought it was, there was no satisfying conclusion to it. It felt very baity for a second season. And I agree with all that. But as, its own thing, on another level, even though I thought this would have been a really, sort of plodding, dragging on ending, I do admire the fact that it went for this Twilight Zone-esque final shot. If this had been the series finale, and we didn't see anything else, I think that would have been really fun. I like old school Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, womp endings that just end on a shot where so it ended up mattering nothing. I think you see that a lot in Twilight Zone episodes, and Planet of the Apes even, that famous ending shot for Planet of the Apes. It's so they were always screwed all along, and I love that kind of thing. So that's something that I really, I guess, I put in the tip of the hat for this. But other than that, it does feel like this, like most other episodes, could have been half the length. It feels like there's a lot of things that are just stretched out beyond necessary, and it really deflates, and it really just saps the energy of every episode that has been in this series. And apparently the director of the first season, Mary Herron, isn't going to be returning to season 2. And I think, okay, that's not something that I am overjoyed by, because I think that this goes beyond director. I think that this is something that is a creative team dysfunction. If they had said that, hey, we're getting new writers as well, we're replacing the writers, I'd be more excited, because the director can only go so far, and if the writing it doesn't give enough to like do in one full episode, then that's on them, not a director. So it's sorry to see Heron depart. I think that they did a really great job for what they had. Like I don't think I had a problem with the direction as more as just the storytelling on like a narrative level. So just fingers crossed it learns from that. And there's not really much to talk about in the episode. That's not just giving a summary, because it's that kind of show. It's always been that kind of show where talking about like what happens is more interesting than talking about how it happens or like the style of the show itself. Because there's no style, it's still just a really boring, overly dragged out show. But I will note one thing, and it's that Jonathan Majors has been confirmed to be Kang the Conqueror or Mortis or Ramatut or what have you. Who was previously announced to be the villain of Ant-Man 3, so I can really see how that connects. Because overall, I think he has potential. I think he does a job that shows that there's a lot to go with this character and how he plays it. Overall, I think that he was very gimmicky and sticky in the role. Like, it's very kind of wacky and goofy, and it's out of place. It doesn't really showcase like any kind of dramatic or threatening feel. Outside of like one or two lines, I thought those lines were like really impactful, and they really showed the menace behind the character and how great the actor is able to kind of fill into those shoes. So I hope to see more of that, and especially here and in Ant-Man 3. So fingers crossed. My only real reservation is that because we got Kang here, and because Kang is now being said to be like the main villain of the series, who knows how long this show is gonna last? It could last like 3 seasons, 4, who knows? But it's definitely being said to be like the main overarching myth arc villain. So my only reservation with that is that since he's going to be a villain in the movies as well, how much of that is going to be sapped away and sort of sidelined from the show? Like, I would hope the show with Loki will be able to tackle this problem head on, but are they just going to have to stall and cut away so as to not infringe on the more important movies? Like, that's my worry. Like, the second season is going to be empty and hollow because they have to leave that stuff for Doctor Strange 2 and Ant-Man 3. So that's a worry. But overall, episode, I think 5 out of 10. Season overall, 4 out of 10. It could have been better. Fingers crossed. And yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for listening. I had a great week and hope you had one too. Just to note it, but we're going to be coming up on our first season finale for Comic Code Authority, so hope you listen into that finale. It's been a great ride, so please check it out. And yeah, I want to give a shout out to Cover's first show at DOTEMCE. Please check them out. They're amazing. Give them all the follows they can get. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a great week, and see you next time.